What's going on, everybody? It's your boy King Gabe here, and we are here to, as they say, kick it into overdrive. Overdrive accelerate! Yeah! So, yep, that's right. Talking about Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. And yes, I did check this out the library. Yeah, I know. Say, yep, 14-day checkout. Say, from his and yeah, probably gotta turn it in a few days. I just finished watching this. I actually had got this when I went on my vacation and started watching it then, which was March the 3rd. I mean, actually, I'm sorry, March the 4th, actually, a Monday. Our library does open on Sundays, but only in the afternoon, which is a pretty short length of time. Don't so yeah, but I actually went up there because I'm used to going come to the library. I'm used to going up there like Monday through Saturday because actually the funny thing is that they say they always have been doing that, but we always was used to going Monday through Saturday. So anyway, yeah, so that means about a couple few days you gotta turn this back in. So yep. So that's what we're gonna talk about in this video I mentioned in my history of Julie and Tim. Make sure y'all definitely check that video out as well. History of Julie and Tim. Um, say yeah, check that out. It probably well, I put it this way. Um, well, yeah, definitely check that out. Um, but I did mention I was possibly going to talk about this, and that's what I'm here doing now. Probably might possibly talk about some other seasons as well. Just all depends on how I feel. And then also, again, like I said, I was on vacation, so that was one reason I picked it up. I was looking for something to just kind of watch on my own, just by myself. Um, and then also then there was also something I did watch with, Christina and everything, but, you know, like on my own, like when she's at work and stuff like that, and, I'm just chilling around the house. And and I thought about that because a lot of people got so much hate toward Overdrive. And there are people that like it. I ran across people on Power Ranger groups. Some of you guys that are watching this now, yeah, some of y'all do actually enjoy this season. Um, and even people that like it, we do have our nitpicks about it. I'll get into that. But there is a lot to like about Overdrive, and like one person pointed out, a lot of the hate is pretty much the internet, especially like Link Carl's atop the fourth wall. Now, before I'm just pointing this out. I don't want anybody go attacking Link Carl or anything like this, or like, oh well, see, he said it was good. How dare you? No, the guy has his own opinions, and he even makes that very clear in the video. This is his opinion from a biased point, and he even states, we are free to disagree with him, despite the fact that he passionately expresses his dislike towards the season. But the problem, not so much from him, it's the people that some of the people that listen to like his review or other reviews. Again, not his fault, but some people, despite the fact that he said this is just his opinion and we're free to think what we want, some people just think like, yeah, Linkara said it, so that must be true. They don't even listen to the point that it was his opinion. Yeah, so yeah, it's a lot of it being the fault because like I said, a lot of followers of different YouTubers, not all of them, but a lot of them don't take stuff to sometimes give the wrong impression of stuff. They're more so than the person they're following. The person they're following is just like, this is what I think, and hey, okay, so see y'all later. Yeah. So yeah, they so yeah, so enough of that little ramble there. Before we go into talking about this, make sure y'all definitely like, share, subscribe. Definitely, you know, yeah, definitely subscribe so you can get updated when these videos come out. Definitely get some of our available books. And of course, we still Wait, matter of fact, it's supposed to be on the 25th. 25th. So this video should be. Y'all probably should be seeing this video before then, but on March the 25th, the book should be arriving according to the email I got from Amazon of Yumiko Novel 1. So, yeah, it should be there then. And shortly after that, yeah, I'll be making a video on that, showing you guys what the book is like, how the book look and everything, and, let y'all know how much it costs and how much, I'm going to be charging for it. So, yeah, definitely do all of that, and also support us on Patreon, just like my boy EJ the Supreme. Oh yeah, yep. Just like that, and also don't forget some super thanks. Yep. On any of these videos that you like, you can do that anytime. And also just a note. Now I'm not gonna say exactly what, but like I say, I do have the intention of, doing some more stuff with my boy EJ in the future, video wise. Not just not just on this channel. There'll probably be some more stuff on this channel. Don't get me wrong, especially with the whole thing of basing Star Striker off of him. But also I do, any chance that that we get, out of our work schedules and stuff, try to do stuff maybe even on his channel. Especially since he's into the whole fitness and everything, and I kind of need that myself. So yeah, definitely maybe just even a video of us working out or something like that. Get and say, hey, like, especially like I say on his channel, it might be like, well, I'm gonna help Gabe get in shape. So yeah, so I definitely have intentions of doing that whenever we get a chance there. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for that on both channels here as well as his channel. Definitely check his channel out. That way you can even stay up to date whenever we do get together to do something and be on his channel. So now that that's all said, let's get into Operation Overdrive. Welcome, my friends, to the history of Overdrive. And one thing you definitely know, I put in the thumbnail, not thumbnail, but the title of the video, Operation Overdrive is Kroger Force. And by that, I'm not saying that they copied what I wrote for Kroger Force, because I mean, obviously, and then even, let me put it this way, even if it actually was similar to Kroger Force, it wouldn't exactly, not really much I could really do, because the only way, if I had Kroger Force like actually published, published and like copyrighted and everything. Yeah, but see, it's not published or anything like that. It's pretty much fan series. So yeah, it just but like I say, because I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot of people's fan series on things or things they've created that may not be published. That because the fact it's not published, a lot of time you're gonna see something similar to what they probably come up with. And just kind of happens there, because I mean, if it ain't published, not too many people are gonna really know about it there, and even if they know about it, you don't have it in publication writing. So that, if that's such a thing. Anyway, let's get into this. I'm rambling too much. All right, so only thing I brought up on my phone when I'm looking at is just the episode guide, not. I don't have notes, so yeah, because I pretty much watched this whenever I got a chance. I didn't just sit one day and watch the whole thing. So, like watching a 2-hour movie or something like that. So, anyway, kicking the Overdrive. Yeah, that was the first two-parter. Pretty much, they become Rangers after Hartford gets the crown of the Corona Aurora. You have to find all the jewels, which is, I think it's 6 jewels that they have to find. And it's definitely a good treasure. Yeah, that's it's like I say, it's like Kroger Force, but instead of defending a grocery store, they're trying to find treasures and so it's pretty much an Indiana Jones kind of thing. Yeah, which is pretty cool. There, pretty neat. Um, I know lot of things. There's been a lot of Indiana Jones references in different shows, just like you have references to stuff like Star Trek references. Making sure I get that out clearly. References to stuff like Star Trek and all that. You get some Indiana Jones there. So yeah, this is definitely made in the mind with Indiana Jones. Whole globe trotting and everything. Um, so yeah, he's Dr. Hartford, the one Hartford, Hartford, Dr. Hartford, um, is the one pretty much like our mentor. He uh, pretty much has to be the one to get the Rangers assembled. Um, ends up getting what's the name? Ronnie, who's a race car driver. Um, Rose, who is works at a university, is really smart for her age and every really smart, really the genius of the group. Dax, a stunt double, of course, and of course Will, who's an international spy. Some people have said like he was also which I think may have read up that he was also a bit of a thief in the show. And yeah, well, some people that didn't really like that. Thought that was pretty kind of distasteful for Will. Uh, Probably some of you can probably guess why others would think that way. But the however thing is, you know, if memory serves, remember Aladdin. Aladdin was a thief that ended up becoming a hero. And one thing someone said on Facebook, it's not a lot of time what a person starts off as. I mean, not saying that's not important, but it's what happens in the end, especially with a character that yeah, there's a lot of characters that starts off, maybe not on, not in the best of ways to start off, but then they develop and over time become great people. So this is an example, and not just and in this case, it's not just with Will, but just the Ranger team in general. And then of course Mac. Now it's not really any profession on him. Um, Clearly he's actually the youngest of the group, and there's one reason why that is that we're gonna get to. Some of y'all probably already know, but also because just say he kind of the appear when you first see Mac, first thing you think he's like probably like 18 about at least, because they're not in school or anything. So you're probably gonna assume that he's at least 18 at the most, and still hanging around with his dad and everything. Um, so Mac shows up with the other four that are called to Dr. Hartford's place, and of course they're told about the Corona Aurora and how two villains have awakened and are coming after it. Moltres and Florius, pretty much fire and ice, and pretty good joke behind that. I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. I'm Mr. Green Christmas. Oh, he's like, I'm Mr. Heat. I'm the something. I'm not quite sure about the other one. Yeah, let me know about the lyrics to the other one. I know about White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow though. I think it's Green Christmas. I'm Mr. Heat, but I've heard more of the White Christmas because of Arnold Schwarzenegger as Freeze from Batman and Robin now. So yeah, so like I say, they're there. They're told what's going on, everything. They don't really believe it at first. Shockingly similar to the first episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Remember how They were called there by an interdimensional being, Zordon. Greetings, I am Zordon, and this is my assistant, Alpha 5. You are going to become the Power Rangers and defeat Rita Repulsa. She's escaped, and she's attacking the town. Teleport to us, 5 over-emotional, and over-emotional.
No, not teenagers.
That is correct, Alpha.
I was afraid of that.
the, yeah, I'm out, and I'm a Ninja Turtle. Oh, a disbeliever. We're talking to a big floating head. So in this case, yeah, they're not very believing it, and we're talking to a guy that has a lot of money, and then yeah, there was one thing that, of course, Rose pointed out that yeah, because I actually did look at Linkar's review, um, to sort of compare, to sort of see how, I which I have seen it before, but I rewatched it to see how what he said about the show holds up to how I think about the show. See how the comparison of opinions and stuff. You know, and also yeah, even with his hatred toward it, yeah, he did point out a few good things. Some good points. Sort of like when I watched this review of a High School Musical movie that I actually do like, but there was some good points in this person's review of High School Musical, despite the fact that he did not like it. So they always say there's always something that a person who likes it and a person who dislikes. There's always something that both sides can agree on. Sometime it's so yeah, that's why I say though. Don't be too quick to turn up your nose at everything. Yeah. Um. So, yeah. With that, he stated how he showed Rose was like, "You're rich. Buy an army." Yeah, he technically could. Now I know with Power Ranger logic, it's always the 5 that are chosen first, and then some seasons it was just 3. But most of the time it's 5, and then they have other additional rangers, and then like in later seasons, maybe that army could be more possible because we've had cases of 10 Power Rangers, in seasons like Dino Charge and stuff like that. So, so yeah, there's that. But, but of course, yeah, you got the Power Ranger logic. And also, what we find out later, there is some, what we find out later, might actually be somewhat of a good reason behind why he only chose a Pacific few for the for getting the powers and stuff. So there's gonna be a theory coming up on that. Um, so with that, yeah, they get their they eventually do believe when all of a sudden the chillers attack. I think Florius's foot soldiers and Morius have like these lava lizards there. So I think it's the chillers that attack first, and then they come out. So the Sentinel Knight is what gets them to believe like, okay, yeah, something is going on. He appears in sort of a spirit form because his power was drained years ago, so he's pretty much in spirit form, sort of like Shotty from Yu-Gi-Oh. And so the Rangers first they get these DNA enhancements. Will is able to, as he have telescopic vision, see long distances, sort of like similar to how Superman can see long distance, and even super hearing. I think Rose has visibility, Ronnie has super speed, and Dax is able to jump really high like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. The wonderful thing about Tigger is oh bother, oh bother me, I think I'll have some honey. I suppose. And there's that moment there when I mentioned Winnie the Pooh. So, So yeah, they got those, and then of course they get the overdrive track. The morphers are called overdrive trackers. Um, Mac wants to go, but of course Hartford doesn't want him to, and he's willing to actually, uh, willing to lead the team as the Red Ranger. Of course, something ends up happening where he ends up dropping his morpher, and of course Mac picks it up and overdrive, accelerate, and all the Rangers morph, including Mac, into the Red Ranger, and of course they fight off the Chillers as well as also they more. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing this right. There's Florius and Moltar. That's his name, Moltar. So yeah, Moltar is of course the guy, the fire dude. Yeah, going in all the lava and stuff. Um, so yeah, they fight them, and there's a part in order to try to get the crown back because they steal the crown. Um, then there's a part, and it's raining out there. So then, of course, end up I think more. Let me see. Let me pronounce his name again. Uh, Moltar. Moltar. Gotta remember that. Moltar ends up making a volcano erupt in order to burn the city, and like, okay, yeah, you can come after us, Rangers, or save the people. Ah, oh, the old hostage card. Um, now there was a criticism where, like, why would the Rangers want to not want to save the people because they want to save the crown first? Now, yes, I can get why anybody would, I can get, why, like people would be upset at this because, you think like, well, you're heroes, you're supposed to save the people. Yes, very much true. But this is one thing also, one other thing to kind of look at. And still, understandable why you would think that. Like, that makes a lot of sense. But also but from their point of view, because Hartford explained and the Sentinel Knight explained about how important that crown was, and that in the hands of evil, the power of it as well as the jewels, they could pretty much destroy the world. So let's think about this for a second. Save is it makes sense to save the city, but one thing that they probably came to their mind is the fact of we let him get that crown, then he'll have access to the jewels and destroy the entire planet, which means all of us would be doomed. So they're looking at the fact of trying to save the entire planet. Yeah, so that, like I say again, makes sense to save the city, but I'm just saying, just kind of also notify that so they're not exactly making and Forrest from their point of view, they're not making a bad choice there. But Hartford informs them that the crown that was stolen was a fake crown, which is a bit of a relief. Yeah, it's a bit of a relief to that mode of thinking. They save the city. Power Rangers Overdrive, other heroes, but then of course the real crown gets stolen, and the Rangers end up having to save Hartford. Um, that's where they first get their Zords and stuff, and the Overdrive Drive Max Megazord, which is a pretty cool Zord. And then of course, as the series goes on, they do get add-ons. That kind of was a thing ever since Wild Force. Ever since Wild Force, like you have your main five Zords, and then you get these add-ons. Like, yeah, especially in Wild Force, they have like these additional animals. And then like there were times where they could make new combinations with the new animals when they got like so many of them. Ninja Storm had these different weapons and stuff they could use. Dino Thunder had extra dinosaurs and stuff, and so on and so on. SPD I don't think really had that. It was just pretty much the Zords that they got assigned, because the police motif and everything. Mystic Force, I not sure. I actually plan to watch Mystic Force to double check that. I do. I think I've watched through it before, but yeah, I'm definitely planning to If I've watched it before, I'm definitely planning to rewatch it. Basically because the whole magician lore behind it. That they're magicians and stuff. And Yumiko, of course, Hiko is a magician, so yeah, you got that kind of going. You got warriors and knights and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities to Yumiko in Mystic Force. So that's one reason I plan to watch that, and then know that came before Overdrive. So and probably some other seasons I'll check out, in the future. When I don't know when I do. So, because of course, working on other stuff like my books and stuff. So, be kind of a every now and then thing. Um, okay, y'all don't need to get mad. Because the thunder outside. It's like, oh, you watch more Power Rangers. Oh, watch Power Rangers. Okay, so they're able to save Hartford and use their Zord and make a Zord for the first time. Then of course you get some would say filler episodes. In this case, they may seem like some filler, but they do involve them getting different treasure. Because that's the thing, it's only 6 jewels you have to find, but the jewels are scattered and it's hard to find them. So they track down different the location of different treasures that in turn lead to these jewels, which that's why we get all the episodes we get. As well, and during all their globe trotting and searching, we do get some character development. Yep, yes, there is character development to y'all that don't to ones that don't believe that. Yeah, there's character development. And that's another reason why I really compared this to one of the things I really compared to how I wrote Kroger Force. Some of the is sort of similar to the characters in like especially version 3 and 4, because those two versions of Kroger Force were probably, in my opinion, the strongest as far as character wise that I wrote with Kroger Force there. Yeah, version 1 and 2 sort of was pretty much it was good, but it was just kind of a little I would say simplistic compared to 3 and 4. But yeah, 3 and 4 would definitely had more into the character line there. So much like the characters in Kroger Force, yeah, I saw a lot of that with the characters here in Overdrive. Yeah, episode like Heart of Blue, where the Blue Ranger was had fallen in love with this girl he saved, and turns out the girl was a villain, which apparently had this jewel around her to that she was trying to release what would later be known as another villain fracture, Candor. Yeah, so he would be the. So yeah, we got more than one villain leaders here. Like I say, Moltar and Florius, and soon we would get Candor because of this girl. And yeah, Dax was really criticized in Linkara's review, even to the point of him telling him, "Shut up, Dax," constantly. Those, I'm like, golly, why you gotta be so mean to Dax? Yeah, Dax is a goofball, yes, but I mean, you do realize a lot of Ranger series have the goofball of the team. Not just the comic relief that aren't Rangers, but yeah, a lot of times you do have that Ranger or here, and even not just Power Rangers, but a lot of hero teams are gonna have that kind of silly guy, laid back and just chill. Justice League, you got Flash. He's pretty much the jokester of the group. What else you got? Then you got Spider-Man. He was always throwing one-liners and quips and stuff, different quips and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean that's in a lot of shows, and even in Power Rangers. Now of course, yeah, Dex and to be honest, a lot of the cast, and they've gotten criticized, and a lot of and it's not just Dax, but like I say, the whole cast has been really heavily criticized by a lot of reviewers and critics. Um, but one thing, I see one thing I see is that these guys are learning. I mean, you do have Ranger teams that pretty much have to build themselves up, establish themselves. A lot of them, I mean, because they're, I mean, you take like even Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yes, because even they developed there. Now you can't expect everybody to think the same way as another person, but yeah, but regardless of how one team thinks compared to the other team, every team had their development in different ways, but they had their developments. In this case, with the Overdrive, like obviously they had never been Rangers before, um, much like a lot of previous teams, and also obviously this was their first time, having to work with each other. Um, like I say, in Dax's case, yeah, he was distracted a lot by this girl, sort of similar to Alex in Kroger Force when Serena had tricked him in both version 3 and 4. Um, and then you have, let's see, okay. Oh yeah, Mac, yeah. So yeah, even Mac himself, despite the fact that he really wanted to be a Red Ranger, Dad wasn't really for that, but eventually his dad accepted that. But yeah, even with that, Mac had some doubts about himself, because there was one where he made a couple of failures in I think episode 5, and felt like he wasn't cut out to be a Ranger. I mean, heroes go through that kind of thing sometime. Where they sometime they may doubt themselves, and then but of course that's one advantage of being a part of a team. Others can lift you up, just like in real life. God's put us on this earth to lift one another up. So yeah, that's the whole. So yeah, a team is a good thing to have for that type of morale. Then of course you got Pirate and Pink, where Rose actually not right off in this episode, but eventually she does loosen up to actually like kind of have fun with the group and everything, because she's kind of taking stuff real seriously and everything. But the Pirate and Pinks sort of starts to loosen her up. She doesn't. She actually does admit to it, to this pirate they meet, but not to the team. But as the show goes on, of course, you start to see a fun side to her. Um, and then of course, oh yeah, you get Ronnie. You get to know a little bit about her in one episode where she's really competitive due to her being a race car driver. A lot of people, the team doesn't really, sort of gets annoyed by this there, and yeah, eventually she has to kind of realize it, and well, um, I think between Mac and Spencer, yes, I forgot to mention about Spencer the butler. Um, yeah, she's able to kind of see what the others are trying to point out about her. Um, then Spencer, pretty much the Alfred of this group, mixed with probably any other butler you've seen in any other show. Alfred, Jeffrey. um, Spencer is a really good character in here. Really, matter of fact, yeah, definitely has the Alfred in him, because he's even a master of disguise. A lot of time he pops up in different missions in different disguises, in order to help the Rangers at times. So yeah, that's yeah, definitely a pretty good feat, and he does have a little fight in him. Yep, he's got a little fight because of what he's kind of been through different throughout the years before now. Um, so pretty much like Alfred. Alfred had been around for quite a bit. Then actually, had a little fight in him and everything. Um, then of course you get Oh yeah. Then of course, when Candor was actually released, thanks to that lady that Dax was once dating, Miratrix. Yeah. So Miratrix actually gets to release Candor. Um, in the process of it, they're trying, looking for an item to lead them to another one of the jewels. Will actually joins up with Miratrix and Candor, and the team's like, how could he betray us and everything? Turns out they pretty much pulled the Beast Wars. By what I mean by that, remember in one episode of Beast Wars when Rat Trap actually just was fed up with the Maximals and uh, pretty much said, I'm leaving. Optimus sent him on a special mission, uh, and it resulted in Rat Trap joining the Predacons as Terrorsaur's lieutenant. Of course, it was then revealed that Rat Trap actually had not betrayed the Maximals. It was only that he only pretended to in order to infiltrate the Predacon base and get something that the Predacons had stole from the Maximals and get it back to them. And Optimus was in on the plan. But they didn't tell the team because they wanted to make it look real so the Predacons wouldn't catch on. And also, so in this case, yeah, Dr. Hartford and Will actually plotted this together, but did not tell the rest of the team. So that way, with them actually thinking that Will betrayed them and, keeping up the act for a while, the villains would not suspect anything. Of course, Kandar was not exactly an easy person to fool. He's kind of like, I don't trust him. There's something up indeed. so, so there was that, and because of the plan, they were able to get an item. They were able to obtain an item and everything. Then, of course, Mac. There's an episode where they have to rescue Mac because he's captured by Florus and Moltar. The two actually are trying to work together in this episode. Cause that's one thing about the villain fractures. None of them really like each other, and yeah, that actually proves as a bit of an obstacle on the villains' end. So yeah, just like the heroes are developing, your Rangers, they're developing and everything. The villains are having issues with one another. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of problem. It's sort of some obstacles on both sides of the track. And also, like with the Rangers developing there, it also definitely puts me in the mind of SPD, how the cadets were, with each other. With what do I call? Oh yeah, so with Florus and Moltar, when they capture Mac in one episode, and the other Rangers are having to try to get him back, Mac manages to pull a Batman on the villains. In one episode of Justice League, All for Injustice, Batman was captured by Lex Luthor's villain team, which pretty much the Legion of Doom. They don't really say that, but that he was captured by them. But while Batman was tied up, he actually got inside the heads of the different villains. Like, what was it? Oh yeah, like, Grundy. How much is Luthor paying you? Money, lots of money. As much as he's getting? I don't know. You should be getting more than me. That's preposterous. And had Humanite and Grundy fight each other over who got more money. Had Cheetah falling for him. Maybe I like danger. Try me. And which was caught on camera and made them think, and made the Lex and the other villains think that Cheetah had betrayed them. Even had talked what was it? Had talked one of the other villains, which was of course Humanite, into warning the Justice League about a bomb in the Watchtower. And as he said to Joker, I could have escaped at any time, but I thought I'd stick around and keep an eye on you guys. You're despicable. As with Mac here in Overdrive, well, he overhears some things about Florus and Moltar, not all of them, but some of the reasons why they're so mad with each other. One of those reasons involves but believe it or not, they actually were human at one point before they became their monstrous forms, uh, due to the Corona War and split off into their elements. So back when they were growing up as humans, because they were brothers, uh, apparently Moltar had broken Florius's snowboard. Mac uses that to his advantage because he finds out a lot of information on him from the Yeti, one of the comic relief of the villains, the Yeti that hangs around with Florus. Um, and even as a comic relief, you actually kind of feel sorry for this Yeti, uh, for the Yeti, because yeah, he's kind of pushed around a lot there. And it's really kind of sad to see sometimes. He tries to be cool with everybody, but everybody's not so cool with him, and it's kind of makes me think of Nuka from Lion King 2 trying to impress his mother, which made me feel sorry for him, especially when Nuka died. Yeah, dude he was only bad because he was doing bad things for his mother. It's pretty sad, just to get her love. Yeah, so of course, thanks to the Yeti, Mac is able to pretty much get Moltar and Flores fighting each other, allowing him to escape. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that Mac has super strength, which comes to his advantage, and he's able to escape, of course. And of course, the Rangers foil another villain plan. You got one where Dax is having to choose between taking an audition or his ranger duties. Yeah, that kind of thing can also happen. Like I say, the characters are developing. Just like in real, and even in the real world, there are times where we have to make tough choices. Now that varies depending on the different person, but like one person may have to choose between two different things that, say, someone like me may look at me like, well, that's not such a hard choice, but maybe to that person it might be a hard choice. So yeah, that happens. And then of course, after 10 episodes of some build up and like the first phase of globe trotting, we get to meet Tyzon face to face. Turns out Tyzon is working with Moltar, and he's in the form of this lizard-like form. Tyzon is ordered to get a parchment, practically a map, but they call it a parchment. So he's ordered to get this, but of course the Rangers interfere. And they notice something very odd about Tyzon. How Tyzon doesn't seem to be, really that evil, sort of like the Yeti. But he's not. But he's not, acting silly and stuff like the Yeti. No offense to the Yeti. I'm just pointing that out there. Yet I'm cool. I'm actually cool with the Yeti. Yeah. Like I say, I actually kind of felt sorry for the poor guy. Oh, thank you. So, Tyson also feel pretty bad. Also feel bad for him, especially what we find out about him. Turns out, only reason he's working for Moltar is because he was forced against his will and turned into this lizard form by Moltar. Originally, he's a Mercurian, and yeah, as we go from face to face to Man of Mercury, where the Rangers actually help him revert to his original form, which is sort of humanoid-like. We end up finding out that, well, he was part of a rescue team back on this planet, and apparently these enemies called the Fear Cats had attacked and pretty much wrecked his mission, as well as also endangering the lives of other people he was trying to rescue. And also he lost his team. So he actually doesn't join with the Rangers right away because he's afraid of, if they work with him, that he might lose them, just like his original team. Sort of like Andros in Power Rangers in Space. He didn't want to have anybody working with him because, well, he lost some people as well. Like he almost lost Zane, the Silver Ranger. So, but then of course, Tyson actually kind of comes around. Because especially with some very wise words from Ronnie. Oh, hey, sometimes like, look, this job is not easy. Okay, sometimes we don't win. Sometimes the bad guys win, but we keep trying. We don't give up. And of course, also words from Dr. Hartford and the other Rangers, of course. And he eventually comes around. Hartford actually is able to make him a morpher, and he ends up becoming the Mercury Ranger. Which, and one thing I gotta say, his costume and also the other suits of the Rangers are actually really cool looking. I think Carr really hated the suits there. He really hated the suits, but I actually liked them there. That was another thing that kind of made me think of Kroger Force too, because I kind of imagined those big compass symbols on their suits. Sort of imagine the Kroger logo like that on the Power Ranger suits. Also, I used to that same symbol for the compass. There's an area downtown in the downtown area of Shreveport. I don't know if it's still up there, but years ago, back when Christine and I were dating, we used to pass by this area a lot, and we would see that sign, and every time I saw it, I was like, Operation Overdrive. So there was that. After Tyson joins the team, we get behind the scenes look, which basically is an episode where the Rangers actually get interviewed on pretty much their version of Good Morning America. That's sort of similar to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when they were on TV, except whereas the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were morphed in during their segment, the Overdrive Rangers we actually the public gets to know who they are, much like Lightspeed Rescue. And in that episode, I did not expect this, but apparently there's I think Miratrix put some kind of metal on the Rangers, saying it's disguised as like the metals you get from the mayor or something like that. But it actually starts messing with Tyson's physiology, since he's a Mercurian. And see, Tyson has the ability to become liquid metal, but so this metal that they're wearing ends up messing with his physiology, and they have to take it off of him in order to get him back to normal again. In the same episode, Tyson gets his own Megazord, which is like a fire truck and two rescue runners. Really cool looking, much like the other Zords that the Rangers have. Matter of fact, the amount of Zords that the other Rangers get total in this series, they actually get the first 5, then they get 5 others where they can make all different kinds of combinations. They get an Ultra Zord, the Sonic Streaker, which is a pretty powerful weapon, as well as also a Battle Fleet Megazord in the sort of over later in the season. So, yeah, we got some pretty cool Zords here. There's even an episode where they meet Thor. Yeah, they actually meet Thor. Also, before that, there is one episode, kind of a filler, where we sort of a Tyson focus episode. He wants to try to be like Will because he wants to be cool. Will, preferably the Black Ranger of the team. He wants to be cool like him, and I don't know exactly how Tyson pulled this off. I never knew there were braided. Well, I guess they do braided wigs, but the way the wig looks on Tyson, though, I thought he literally braided his actual hair to look like Will, and even wore the same hat and stuff like Will wears. Of course, Will gets annoyed by this. A lot of people would start off, probably kind of liking that somebody's copying them, like kind of flattered. But then, yeah, eventually it would get annoying there. So, yeah, that happens. And Then of course, we Hammer Time. We meet up with both Thor and Loki, and not from the MCU. This is actually um, since the Operation Overdrive started in 2007. This actually was 4 years before we would meet Thor in the MCU. And one thing, like Christina was saying, she kind of it was like, could you imagine if that was Thor and Loki from the MCU? I guess it. Well, for one thing, now I will say, now this is just this is not really a big issue or anything, but I'm kind of surprised at how they made the hammer look. I'm not saying they necessarily would have to make it look like the MCU, but I just kind of figured, being this is you know, Thor's hammer, and it would be a little more metallic there. Instead, it kind of looks like it's either wooden or something, and it looks like a mallet more so than a hammer. Huh. Whereas, yeah, something kind of similar to what you see in the MCU. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't make it look like an actual hammer we use on Earth. There, I mean, obviously, it wouldn't just look like that. But yeah, what I mean, sort of like what you would see in the early years when they first, made tools and everything like that. Um, but yeah, that's just a small thing. No, not really a big issue. I'm just pointing that out. Um, they're actually pretty funny because Loki's the god of mischief, and he actually disguises himself as Thor, much like what Tom Hiddlesworth did in one scene of Thor: The Dark World when he was just kind of messing around with Thor, disguising himself as different people. Even when he disguised himself as Captain America. So, oh, excuse me. As it's wet my whistle, and of course, a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. um, so of course they get the hammer from Thor. There's also a cannon that they got in an earlier episode to help. That's supposed to grant some kind of power, as well as also find another jewel. Also with the Fearcrats, yeah. Now the Fearcrats have also been a threat, since the episode where Tyson was first introduced. And much like how Motar and Florius don't get along, the Fearcrats aren't really wanting to serve either of these guys, not even Kandor and Miratrex. So now you got four different main boss villains at each other. Motar, Florius, Kandor, and the Fearcrats. And the Fearcats there. And I gotta say, these Fearcats remind me a lot of the Metallicats from SWAT Cats. Yeah. Any of y'all ever seen that show? They're the SWAT Cats. Yeah, it kind of remind me of them. Except they're not robotic, obviously. But I think it's just the kind of the way they act. That's just what I think of. It's been a while since I've seen the SWAT Cats, but yeah. There's a episode of where there's an episode where a monster shows up that with a item that can cause bad luck. Mac ends up getting hit with the power of this item, causing him to really have bad luck. Oh boy. And then there's the one that gets away. There's one, and then just like there was this episode where Will had pretended that he betrayed the Rangers and stuff like that. There's one episode where they actually get a jewel, but they end up losing it because the bad guys really get the one up on them. As Ronnie stated, sometimes the bad guys do win. Will really takes this really close to heart and pretty much kind of thinks that, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be a part because, it's, and really beats himself up about this, similar to Mac. Yeah, we get that. Hartford actually is like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be. But it takes Spencer to really talk some sense into them there. And again, like I say, as a people do say, yeah, there are cases where people really do sort of get like this. There, I've stated once before, when I failed the 8th grade, well, not the whole 8th grade, but when I failed a class in 8th grade, and also a part of my test, which had me to go to summer school in order to get to the 9th grade, I felt like I wasn't going to make it. I thought that it was over for me and I wouldn't get to the 9th grade. But then of course met Casey, and well, I actually got the confidence where where I actually they did not give up after getting that confidence boost. So yeah, that's all the more important why we need each other, and why everybody needs somebody. And that's why God put us on this earth to help each other out. So then of course, Once a Ranger two-parter. Oh yeah, this is where you get the 15th anniversary thing. Yeah, the 15th year anniversary of the Power Rangers. Apparently, now there are some nitpicks with this episode, with this anniversary special. I still enjoyed it, much like the rest of the Overdrive series. Don't get me wrong, but there's some things that need to be pointed out about this, and some of which were pointed out by Linkara, of course, but there was also some I heard from other people that's talked about the series there that actually also made some pretty interesting points. So we get a new villain, Thrax, the son of Lord Zed and Rita. Now, a lot of us, including myself, have wondered how in the world does the son of Lord Zed and Rita look the way he does? Because to look at him, you probably think he's been around for a while. He even mentions how he was sealed away by the Sentinel Knight, which a battle that happened years ago, and then busts out of his seal. After all these years, I'm free, just like his mama.
After 10,000 years, I'm free.
So, yeah, I kind of wonder, but then again, there is, remember Rita mentioned after 10,000 years I'm free. So there's a chance that maybe 10,000 years before Rita was sealed in that dumpster, that when she was roaming the earth back then, probably Lord Zed was around back then, because a lot of these villains live a long time. And maybe back then, her and Lord Zed might have conceived this child, Thrax, or created him. Okay, so maybe, and some of y'all might be like, well, no, Gabe, because I remember clearly when Lord Zed suggested about having a baby, and Rita was like,
excuse me while I go throw up.
Yeah. Oh, please come back, my dear. So, okay. So that's one theory. Okay, maybe that theory might not be too logical. Fair point. To anybody disagrees with that first one, that's a fair point. Okay, let's see why. So another theory I actually found out from somebody in the Power Rangers group. Not the group, but in Linkara's review, in the comment section. Because I do scroll through the comment section of a lot of videos I look at just to kind of see what people say about these videos. And I noticed somebody said that, well, maybe they didn't actually birth Thrax like the way, a human couple would. Because remember, this is a space alien witch, and, well, whatever Lord Zed is there. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not going to even think on the details there. Yeah. So anyway, let's say because that would, as Woody say, the word I'm looking for, I can't say because there are preschool toys watching. Getting kind of tense down, Woody. So anyway, probably what somebody pointed out was that maybe Lord Zed and Rita maybe created Thrax. And what I mean by that is, you remember, you guys ever, those of y'all that's watched Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, how they was fighting these insectoid like aliens. There was a part in the series where the daughter, Scorpetina, had went into some type of cocoon state so she could hatch out of there more powerful. So what if Lord Zed and Rita made like this, boy, it's raining hard. Oof. Yee. At least I'll wash my at least the pollen will be off my car. Free car wash. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. so, so yeah, maybe Lord Zed and Rita created Thrax in some type of cocoon or something like that, And when Thrax hatched out of it, he didn't come out like a little boy. He came out pretty much the way he looks in this special. Now you might be one. Now there was another thing to bring to mind, and this was also in the comment section of Link Horror's review. That was one advantage of watching through the review again. Like I say, but especially reading the comments of how people responded to Link Horror's opinions. You learn a lot. So another person point, and even Link Horror, even he, because he responded to some of these comments, and even he was like, I didn't, hey, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. So yeah, he was pretty good. Yeah, he was pretty cool with a lot of the comments there. Um, Kudos for being a sport on that, man. um, so yeah, and yeah, I do, and yeah, there are some really, and yeah, mentioning Link Horror a lot. Yeah, definitely also check out some of his other stuff. Especially History of Power Rangers. To see, and you'll see, if you, pretty sure there's going to be a season that you'll agree with him on, and some you might disagree. And there's also other reviews. I like the reviews when he reviews those some of the Power Ranger comics, and then some of the skits that he does, like battling Mecha and Evil Possessed comics. So yeah, so I think him versus Mecha is my favorite skits there. So anyway, with the in the comment section, they someone pointed out. Okay, so you say he's created, not conceived out of Rita's womb, but he's actually just created. Okay. Um, can you explain to us how he fought the Sentinel Knight years ago? And then say after all these years I'm free. Yeah, just time travel. That was the only thing that someone could come up with, was just time travel. Maybe after he was, after Lord Zed and Rita created him, probably off screen. I would say during the events of Turbo, after the movie, of course, because we don't see Lord Zed and Rita during the Turbo season like we did in Zeo. So maybe they hatched Drax off screen in the Turbo season, and probably some point before Space started. Remember how all the villains were gathered by Dark Spectre, and they announced the new villain, Astronema. Well, maybe once Thrax was created, Dark Spectre probably sent him through time some kind of way, or maybe one of the other villains. But I would say probably Dark Spectre may have sent him through time, probably to try to get the jewels of the Corona Aurora back in the past. It could happen, because maybe like as a backup plan in case in case the Rangers here in the present day actually beat them or something. So maybe to take something from the past that would give him a power boost and destroy the Rangers. But while he was in the past trying to get the Corona Roar, the Sentinel Knight caught him and sealed him away, and Drax was not able to come back to this time period, so he had to wait for years and years to hatch out of his dumpster. After all these years, I'm free. Now the only thing the person came up with in the comment section was just the time travel. So just from that comment, that's kind of what comes to my mind of what could have happened, as far as him fighting the Sentinel Knight and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation you can actually make from the history of a lot of stuff that goes on in Power Rangers series and even other series there. That you kind of have to, kind of make theories and assumptions on between the lines there. So that's how in theory Drax probably came to be, and what his backstory could possibly be. So he's here now, and he calls the villain frack. He called Moltar, Florius, Kandor, Miratrix, the Fearcrats. He calls them all together and say, "Hey, you guys are always at each other, but you realize y'all fight each other so much, you're never going to succeed against the Rangers completely because you're constantly fighting each other and bopping heads. So, let's all work together. I don't think so. I think you should. Think about this. Now, hear me out. Now, hear me out, everybody. Just at least work together to get all the jewels of the Corona Aurora. Just work together to do that. And also defeat the Rangers. And when all of this is over and you've won and now you rule the world, then you can fight each other as much as you want. How about that? Fine, we'll do it. Okay, so, and yeah, I will say maybe Thrax could have had a different voice. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. I mean, it could have a different voice. Maybe something better for. But he sounds like this. Yeah, it sort of makes me when Linkara pointed that out. It sort of made me think of Goldar Maximus from an episode of Beast Morphers when they had the three Dino teams come join up with Jason. So you're Goldar Maximus. Heard a lot about you. Sure hope you're a lot tougher than the last one we faced. Oh, I am! And I brought an army, too! An army? That's no army. Huh? A power clay? See? Now this is an army. We have a hope. It won't be when we're done, Jason! Yep, and then of course, Jason magically lost some pounds morphing. I guess but then again, the morphing grid does seem to make Justin grow whenever he morphs in Turbo, so yeah, why not? A temporal weight loss there, because of course he goes back to normal when he demorphs there, so yeah, why not? And I can't really point fingers, as I imagined something like that when I first came up with Power Rangers. There are some other Power Rangers series that I did imagine other than Kroger Force, so you will hear about those in other videos. But yeah, that was one thing I kind of imagined was a magical weight loss. So just when they were morphed there, like if you were chubby or something like that, like myself. So yeah, so all the villains are now working together and they call out the Rangers. And not only do they defeat the Overdrive Rangers, but they cut off their connection to the morphing grid by combining their powers with Thrax. And with their connection cut off, yeah, it looks pretty bad for the Rangers. And it kind of reminds me of when at the end of season 2, leading into season 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, when their Thunderzords got destroyed, which also temporarily broke their powers, which resorted into what Adam would have later as the Broken Morpher, that obviously he would have to fix over time. Adam, don't do it! No! It's morphin' time! Mastodon! So, yeah, we get that, but of course, the jewels are still out there. Obviously, the Rangers don't give up that easily. Yes, they don't give up that easily. No, some people were thinking like, well, they give up at the drop of a dime. Well, they lost their powers, their Ranger power, but they still had the civilian powers, and they were willing to still go out and try to protect the jewels. However, they get thrashed by the fear cats. And yeah, one thing that's said about the fear cats, these guys are freaking overpowered. Yeah, I think they're actually stronger than the other villain fractures. It's kind of ridiculous at times, and I kind of see why people, even people that like the Overdrive series, like myself, a lot of them are even annoyed by these fear cats, and yeah, I can kind of see why, because there are times they do seem a little Mary Sue-ish at times. Y'all don't know what Mary Sue means. That's a term when somebody does not have weaknesses and pretty much just has all kinds of superpowers and never loses. And yeah, so anyway, it seems like it's not seems like the Rangers are pretty much going to be done for, despite their valiant efforts, until we get the cameo Rangers. We get Mystic Force Green, SPD Red, Dino Thunder Yellow, Ninja Storm Blue, and the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger Adam with his morpher fixed. Thought you guys could use a little help. Turns out they were summoned by the Sentinel Knight, and one thing about this, and now at the beginning of the series, the Sentinel Knight was in spirit form, but two of the jewels had kind of restored some of his power a little bit, and the jewels themselves is what reverted Tyson, back to his normal humanoid state. Also, the Sentinel Knight, with a little bit of the power that he's obtained so far, was able to get these Rangers together. Now, Linkara actually did make a fair criticism to this. Yes, like I say, there are things like I say, I still enjoy this series, but yeah. Now, okay, so Adam obviously got his morpher fixed. So, okay, him coming back, okay, that's not too bad. Maybe I could see the fact of Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder sort of getting their powers back because they have done that before. The Ninja Storm Dino Thunder crossover, they temporarily got their powers back to help the Dino Thunder Rangers in order to face Lothar that it came back. Dino Thunder, there has been a case where their powers were revived there. So yeah, I can see the possibility of those three. Mystic Force, it said, which I definitely plan to rewatch that series, but from what I heard, they kind of had lost their powers at one point, but sort of got it back with the people believing in magic. So it's kind of uncertain if the power was back permanently or just for that moment. But yeah, I mean, okay, magic and technology of the Morphin Grid and Mystic Force, yep. So okay, so nothing against those four, and I kind of see why they made the choices they did because the Power Rangers was being shot in New Zealand, so it was kind of iffy. So they had to use a lot of who they already had there in that area because they started doing New Zealand filming when I think during the days of Wild Force or Ninja Storm. Probably Wild Force, I would have to say, because Saban was still on the team, but that was it was the last time Saban worked on Power Rangers was Wild Force. But Disney sort of did help with Wild Force, and then after that, with Ninja Storm, Disney completely took over. So I could kind of see the maybe it was after it was Ninja Storm when they moved to New Zealand to start pretty much completely under Disney's umbrella. So obviously they had to get a lot of Rangers that were from teams that were in the area where the actors were in that area already to save on travel costs. And they only flew Adam out there so they could at least have one person back from before the era to kind of mix things up a bit. So I can understand that. However, the criticism that I have okay, it can be logical, but I feel like could be different. They bring an SPD Ranger, which is SPD Red. Turns out it's not Jack or Sky, it's Bridge. And the reason I say Jack or Sky, because obviously Jack was the original SPD Red Ranger at the beginning of SPD. But at the end of SPD, Jack had left SPD in order to go into this clothing business, pretty much like a Goodwill in their town, and go into business with this lady that he's had an interest in, and also an alien named Piggy, to sort of get Piggy on the right track. And the other four Rangers, gave him a good send off. And Sky had got promoted to Red Ranger. So, yeah, but Bridge explains, since this is 2007, I guess it's 2027 in SPD's time. Apparently Sky's promoted to Red Ranger. Apparently he got promoted 1 year later to being in Kruger's position, and Kruger got to be in his boss's position because his boss had retired, and now Bridge is the Red Ranger. It's kind of confusing when you hear him explain it. However, the fact that he came from the future, now obviously we've had Rangers from the future, like Time Force, but the thing is, because of how Sentinel Knight's power was at this very moment, you would think it's one thing the other Rangers that are right here in the present, but you would think that maybe you might want to save your energy a little bit there, Sentinel Knight. Nothing against SPD, but like I say, yeah, wouldn't it be easier to summon the Rangers that are right here in this time period? Yeah, and also it does make you wonder how the heck is this affecting the time stream. Now, of course, they always say time travel is complicated, and there's no real set thing for it, even in the world of fiction. But still, yeah, the last time we had a time travel episode with SPD was when they crossed over with the Dino Thunder Rangers, and both times, yeah, they crossed over 2 times. Both times they had to erase the Dino Thunder Rangers' memories to protect the time stream. None of that happens here. I mean, Kira from Dino Thunder is interacting with Bridge from the future, and there's no mind eraser or anything to her or any of the other Rangers. If I was writing this special, instead of bringing an SPD Ranger, since it's supposed to be from the future, kind of one of the disadvantages of the whole 2025 thing, but I would have maybe brought back, maybe in SPD's place, another one of the Saban Rangers to fly in with Adam, quite possibly the Silver Ranger, and maybe a Lightspeed Rescue Ranger, because, yeah, obviously they have access to their powers. Yeah, so I would say maybe the Red Lightspeed Ranger, perhaps. Since he had Red SPD, how about the Red Lightspeed Ranger again? Or, let's see, Red Lightspeed Ranger. Yeah, possibly that. I would say, yeah, Red Lightspeed Ranger would sound like a good idea. Carter Grayson, or is a think that pretty much, and also in addition to give you 6 Ranger cameos, meet up with 6 Overdrive Rangers, make a total of 12. Why not bring in the Silver Space Ranger? Because yeah, the Silver Space Ranger, I actually could believe that maybe, what if maybe him and even Adam, if the two of them were contacted, or if you contact Adam, he would probably get in touch with Zane to help him recruit these other Rangers. So, yeah, him, Zane, and even Carter. So, that actually, I would say, would work to recruit the other 3 cameos. Not to mention, the whole thing with the space travel. Yep. And with the space travel, and another reason why I think they should have brought in Zane or any of the other Space Rangers, because it would make a lot of sense of how Alpha gets there. Yeah, they bring Alpha into this crossover. Like I say, I still enjoyed the series. The crossover was not that bad. It was okay. The crossover was actually okay. Could be better, but okay. As Brownie say, you gotta look at the positives. But I think any of us, whether we like this series or dislike it like Linkara, I think there's one thing that all of us could mostly agree on. Why did y'all do Alpha 5 or Alpha in general so dirty in this special? Yes, I said it. They did him dirty. He comes. Okay, so there's a scene where Adam leads the other cameos to this warehouse in Angel Grove. Obviously, they don't have the budget to shoot all of Angel Grove, so they have to make one scene of it look like Angel Grove, which is the warehouse. They fight some chillers there, and they get the box that Adam's looking for. And in that box, with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers signal on it, Alpha 5 was in a box at the warehouse. He wasn't on Miranoi with the Lost Galaxy Rangers. He wasn't with Andros from Power Rangers Space like what we saw at the end of Forever Red. No, he was just in a box. Some kind of way he was in a box at Angel Grove's warehouse. Why? Why was he in a box at the warehouse? It makes no sense. That's ironic timing. I guess I must be really angry because it's thundering with me expressing that. So, yeah, why? Why? Yeah, that's why they should have brought in one of the Space Rangers because Alpha could have flew in with Zane. Matter of fact, you didn't have to, what you could. They could have even done this. Yeah, especially with the budget and everything. Bring in five cameos. Adam, fly in Adam and Carter. They get a hold of, Tori. What's the name? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think the name of the Yellow Dino Thunder Ranger. Let's see. I think maybe it's on here. Maybe. Let's see. Maybe. Okay, no, it's not. But yeah, the Yellow Dino Thunder Ranger, Tori from Ninja Storm, and Xander from Mystic Force. So yeah, they recruit those three. But then, yeah, maybe instead of them going to Angel Grove, they may, or matter of fact, maybe Zane just arrives late because he's coming from space. Like the way Aisha and Adam were in the one Always and Forever 30th anniversary special. So yeah, Zane can fly in. Maybe he arrives, kind of late there, just in time to bring Alpha there to fix the grid. Say now I can believe Alpha would fix the grid. I'm say yeah, nothing against that, and yeah, admittedly, it's not they don't really show much of the grid, probably due to budgets. So that's understandable, and especially with the way Disney was kind of running things. Yeah, yes, There's always a lot of stuff behind the scenes in studios that's but yeah, I could look over a lot of that. But yeah, that Alpha's entrance just does not. Sure, I would even forgive the fact. I could even look over the fact of Alpha having this really weird techno voice. Ay 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 ay, where am I? With the echo and all that. And yeah, it is not really that good. I mean, why? I don't know why whoever they got to play Alpha couldn't at least imitate one of the previous Alphas. Yeah, even with a new voice, anything would be better than what was that. But okay, but yeah, at least change Alpha. At least have a Space Ranger bring Alpha in. Whew, went on with that a pretty good while. But okay, so what else about the special? Well, they do have okay. There's one other thing that has to be addressed. That's a kind of a major complaint, and then I'll get into the good stuff. They don't have really good interaction with the Overdrive Rangers. They save the Overdrive Rangers. Then I don't know who. Now I don't know who to blame for this for writing this in the script, but the Sentinel Knight states that the cameo Rangers are there to replace the Overdrive Rangers. Yeah, excuse me? Okay, yes, I know they lost their powers, but wouldn't the whole point of them be to help these guys get their powers back? And they actually do that. They try to repair the grid. So they could get, the Overdrive Rangers' powers back. But why would Sentinel Knight just suddenly say to replace them? Okay, the Rangers here in the present, but especially the fact that they brought in SPD Red Bridge from 2027. Don't you think if he stays there permanently with the Ranger team that that's going to cause some complications in the time stream? And even if you swapped him out for the Space Ranger Zane, like I mentioned, um, yeah, yeah. See, the thing is, when the cameos like that come, yeah, that it's now it's a chance that they could possibly come back, and maybe they're doing stuff, you know, off screen, off screen, in their towns and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the thing. They're only supposed to be there temporarily in these team ups for a specific mission there. So yeah, like I that yeah, that was kind of a bit of an error in the writing for that scene with the Sentinel Knight. Yeah, and who knows? Maybe the Sentinel Knight wasn't thinking too clearly when he said that. Who knows what he might have meant? So because of this, the other Rangers are pretty upset about this. Now, Linkara pointed out how upset he was with the fact that they just, okay, yeah, we're going to go back to our normal lives, and, you got your new team of Rangers, so you don't need us anymore. Probably, now, of course, I understand Linkara's criticism, but looking at this, the first thing kind of came to my mind was Shrek. Remember how when Shrek was upset, he thought that Fiona didn't love him, but she was actually talking about herself. He didn't hear the whole conversation. He was upset, and he's like, "I bought you something, princess." And Farquaad took the princess away, and then he snapped at Donkey. But notice when Shrek was yelling at Donkey in that scene, when he was really upset. On the inside, Shrek was sad because you could even see it in his face behind the anger that he is like, I know person trying not to cry when I see it because I have done that. There's times where I was upset, like something got me upset, and I was trying not to cry in front of people, and yeah, it is not easy to do, and I could see that in Shrek's face because again, I know how I probably looked in that state. Um, oof. So yeah, chances are the Rangers were probably feeling like Shrek was, but they meant like, okay, we're just going back to our normal life. This was probably their mask over their true feelings. True feelings, they still wanted to stay and fight like they were before, but the fact that hey, these guys are going to replace you, probably kind of struck them at heart. Yeah, so yeah, a blow like that can kind of get you a little emotional, and sometimes people will mask their emotions of sadness. So that's like I say, you think like, well, why are they saying this to me? Sometimes people are masking their sadness there. So like Cole in the Popeye movie, when he was reading the newspaper, Cole, stop reading! Turns out he wasn't really even reading the paper. He was hiding his face because he was crying. So, yeah, the Rangers were probably really upset about all this, the Overdrive Rangers. But, they felt like there was nothing they could do. And, again, that happens in life with anybody. So, I mean, even heroes. And yeah, I know. Previous Rangers, they lose their powers. As Linkara strongly stated, they don't give a rat's behind. They'll fight no matter what the cause. Because that's the term. It's the typical superhero rule. Yeah, it is. I don't disagree with anything of him saying that. But my thing is just, hey, realize, yes, that is a thing of heroes and superheroes. But you also got to remember something else. They are human. And humanly speaking, yeah, sometimes we get broken to the and it could be at any time. Like, well, but they've developed and all this and this, so it's like they went back. The strongest warriors can be broken at times. Just saying. I mean, you think about even great people in the Bible. Moses was doing all this, stuff for the Israelites, and even he got broken several times. Especially when this was like, we need water, we need food. Yeah, Moses was getting really fed up at times. Even with trying to free them out of Egypt, Lord, the Pharaoh's not listening. I don't know if I could do this. So, yeah, that kind of thing can happen. So, yeah, but so yeah, we go. But despite their depression, Mac actually gets the idea, which a little help from the Sentinel Knight, because maybe it's probably the Sentinel Knight may have possibly thought about what he said. Maybe, because sometimes even in real life, we say stuff that sometimes we like, oh dang, why did I say that? Oh, hey, I did say that earlier, but I apologize then. So yeah, that can happen as well. So Sentinel Knight encourages Mac to try to find the sword Excelsior, uh, and he does. And because of the fact that he asks Rose to help him research on in order to know where to find it, she kind of suspects that Mac is going to go try to get it on his own. So she alerts the other Rangers to come help Mac. Yep, and they act, and they don't. They're not successful at first, and Drax even shows up because he's been following Mac to try to get the sword for himself. But yeah, it doesn't work for Drax. So, and yeah, Drax does kind of act a little stupid in this scene.
If I can't have the sword, then I'll destroy your city. I could kill you. I could just destroy you all right now, but I'm an idiot. Bye.
So, yeah. So, but because of his idiocy, Mac encourages the Rangers to try again, and they manage to get the sword, which ends up being able to restore the Sentinel Knight to his physical form, and he can even transform from the sword. Magic and technology. It's a big thing here in Power Rangers. Matter of fact, I just recently went back. Went not only I just recently went through my Yamiko rough draft for novel 2. The first 5 chapters, and there's some more re-edits to it, which that'll be in another video. But one of the things I added to this re-edit was them mentioning about magic tech, which they call magitech. It's a thing, and it was kind of. It kind of came to my mind from what I've seen in Power Rangers. They use a lot of magic and technology, especially seasons like Mystic Force and stuff like that. Really, really heavily implying on the magic side of things. So, and also other seasons like Wild Force. So yeah, magical tech sword. Mac is able to slash a giant enemy in half with the power of this sword, unmorphed. And Linkara complained about that, but I mean, he said, "What's the point of morphing?" But then again, yeah, if the sword is doing all that, then I mean, I'm just saying, maybe it was just something that was just able to happen. Then I don't know, but yeah, I don't think it was really not. In my opinion, I don't think that was really something to be that upset about. There, I mean, at least. After their defeat and depression and, kind of sulking a bit, at least now they got something to kind of get them back in the game. So, that's something. And again, there could have been a lot more interaction between the cameos and the Overdrive Rangers than what we got. Yeah, that's really something that could have been worked in this special, but, But we do get the climax, fight, team up, everybody morphs, ready. Yeah, and they all do Macedon, Ninja Storm, Ranger Form, Dino Thunder, power up, the SPD, emergency, magical source, Mystic Force, Overdrive, accelerate. Yeah, now, and only one other thing to complain about, one other thing. Why couldn't they use the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme? I do not understand that in the slightest. Behind the scenes, they say that there was a rights issue. What rights issue? Disney, you bought the Power Rangers. You have control of the Power Rangers from Ninja Storm all the way to RPM before Saban bought it back with Samurai. So from Ninja Storm to RPM, Power Rangers was all you, Disney. You controlled everything in the dub of Power Rangers from the Super Sentai series. So why, dear God, why would that buying of the Power Rangers for that length of time not also include access to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme? Why? Why? Whew. Okay. So, guess we'll never find out. So, now the Rangers are teamed up. They go to fight the villain factions. I thought that was, when Linkara, it was a part where Linkara got mad just like I did, and I mean like really got fired up. He's like, why? Then he calmed down. So, the Rangers get the sword Excelsior, and then oh. Okay, all right. Yeah, like I said, that's why I say yes. There are complaints to make, and that's it. That's even in stuff you like. There's gonna be nitpicks, and sometimes some things that's gonna make you scratch your head. But one thing about it, if the good outweigh the bad, just sometimes you can still point it out, but in this, but still find as much of the good as you can and hope it outweighs the bad. Yeah, that's the best. Especially that's what I say for Power Ranger fans for any of these seasons, because like I said, even with the mistakes, the Overdrive Rangers are still worthy of being part of the Ranger franchise. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, there were mistakes made, but I don't deem them unworthy in the slightest. Yeah, just saying. So yeah, team up fight. They show up. They one up all the villains and stuff like that. The villains retreat. They're like, we ain't working together no more. Let's get out of here. And of course, Thrax is defeated really by both Adam and the Sentinel Knight, as well as all the Rangers. There is now about Thrax. There's another thing I want to point out. Now this is actually not a complaint. This is not a complaint. This is just something I actually heard this from another person. I'm not sure who this person is, but a while back, somebody that was talking about Overdrive actually made a really good point. Why couldn't you make Thrax the final villain of Overdrive? This actually would make a lot of sense because he's the son of Lord Zed and Rita, so he's probably pretty, and he seems like he's stronger than the other villain fractures to get them all joined up together. So it would be interesting if maybe he was the final boss. Like, what would happen if they find the jewels of the Corona Aurora and that awakens Thrax? And of course, he's too powerful for the Overdrive Rangers to be. They, just like in the special, in the anniversary special, they cut off their connections to the grid. It all seems hopeless for them, and the Cameo Rangers show up. They help them to get their powers restored, and more interaction between them. And as the finale, as both the 15th anniversary and the finale to the series, they all join forces to defeat Thrax. That would actually make a good climax of this series, as well as fighting all the jewels of the Corona Aurora, and yeah, that was really a good thought. But of course, we didn't get that. So yeah, gotta get what we got. But yeah, that's something that would have, been pretty cool to see if it was arranged that way. So because of that, so after this special and everything, they all say their goodbyes and stuff. Go Power Rangers, even though they couldn't use the song. And we move on to the other episodes. Got one episode where the Rangers just try to have a picnic, but of course they end up having to deal with the bad guys again. During this, Tyson starts having affections for Rose, But he's kind of awkward about it. But he doesn't realize that he is sort of like a child that doesn't really know better. Uh, so he, and also that's one thing somebody pointed out about the Overdrive Rangers. They said the Overdrive. Somebody said that the Overdrive Ranger team is like a bunch of kids at Chuck E. Cheese. Honestly, I kind of agree with that a little bit, but honestly, I don't really see a problem with that completely. They do have some childish ways, despite the fact that they're young adults and stuff. But then again, they're not too different from the SPD cadets because the SPD cadets, they bickered a lot and got pretty childish at times. But in the end, they still became a great team. The Overdrive Rangers are not too different from the SPD cadets. They have a lot of their ways, like Tyson when he was trying to copy Will and stuff, got on his nerves, or it's different stuff with each of the individual Rangers having issues and stuff, or the thing in the 15th anniversary where it kind of took them to heart when with what the Sentinel Knight said, and probably the Sentinel Knight probably even had to second like, oh wait, what did I just, oh dang, I maybe shouldn't have said that to them. So yeah, one fine day, yeah, that's Tyson. Yeah, and about the Chuck E. Cheese thing, yeah, why not? Because I'm like this, hey, I write about heroes in my story that are kids, so make works for me. Yeah, I definitely want to hang out with these guys. We'd be Rangers, fight some evil, and then go to Chuck E. Cheese. Whee! And when I say go to Chuck E. Cheese, I want to see the mouse back from years ago, way Chucky looked back then. So yeah, I get with that. Um, Tyson actually, so yeah, he's kind of crushing on Ronnie, getting kind of weird with how he's going about it. Then when the turns out the Fearcrats are actually hiding somewhere in the park that they're having their picnic in, but they have a barrier around it. The Rangers find this barrier, and apparently only Tyson's able to get through it with his abilities. He tried to help the Rangers get through it by having them hold on to him and concentrate, but when Mac comes, it cuts off. So first thing you might think is maybe they lost concentration, sort of like when Peter was walking on the water to Jesus and he doubted and said, "Oh Lord, save me." Why did you doubt? So yeah, maybe something like that happened. But this kind of is actually possibly a hint to something that's about to happen with Mac. Of course, then of course after that we get a two-parter, Ronnie on Empty, where she's being drained of her powers. For some reason, the villains really just wanted her for this power drain. Now they didn't want any of the other Rangers, and Will really took this personally. Like they didn't want me; they wanted her. So yeah, yeah, this really kind of got to Will, but of course they eventually were able to rescue Ronnie and save the day again. Then this is where the hint from what I mentioned earlier, all the different hints and all the way throughout the episode too, come into place when Rose tries to do some experiments with the Sentinel Knight to invent a new super weapon to enhance the Zords. Suddenly, after dealing with Miratrix and Kandor and a new monster they create, a virus gets into the Overdrive base. They're able to use the backup power to get the virus out, but what they don't know is that now the Miratrix and Kandor have information of where the other jewels are. Also, this virus somehow affects Mac. Good thing. Good thing. Good thing. Good thing. Yeah, turns out Mac is an android. Yeah, because he wakes up. Dad, did something happen? And he looks over and sees his body over on the ground, and turns out his head is on a table. Dad? Yeah. Boy, this is hmm, well, look on the bright side, Mac. I mean, they do put you back together, and at least you're not like my position when I actually on the surgery I had back in middle school. I'm not going to say where that surgery was, cause yeah, kind of a little personal there. But let's just say once they got me sewed back up, I kind of woke up a bit too soon before it was completely finished, and it was hurting me like crazy because, like I said, I woke up too soon. They had to hit me again with another thing of the anesthetics there. But I woke up yelling stuff, clinging to my mom and granny. Yeah, so yeah, at least you're not in that position, Mac, because that's probably not a situation you want to be in there. Of course, it is kind of creepy to find out your head's on a table, but okay. Being creeped out or in pain? Think I'd rather be creeped out because at least I'm not hurting. Well, at least not physically. Emotionally, though, when he finds out the truth, um, he really takes this pretty personal. It's like, but I remember, all the schools I went to, the fish I caught, those were all memories that we implanted in you. So yeah, and this explains why there was a picture of him and his dad with a fish that he caught, but it didn't cast a shadow. Yeah, one thing to people that use Photoshop, make sure you put shadows in your pictures to give the realistic look. Yeah, just saying. Um, so yeah, he's pretty upset about this. However, the Rangers are trying to stop Candor and them from getting the other jewels. Candor creates some monsters that are really super powered. So Mac has to show up to try to save the other Rangers, and he even takes it. He even takes Rose's invention because of the fact that he now knows he's an android. He merges with the invention, which is apparently the Sentinel Knight, as now I guess somewhat of a Zord like thing. It's kind of really hard to explain how that worked, but he merges with the Sentinel Knight, and yeah, as a Sentinel Ranger, and he's able to defeat the new enemies, and they get the jewel. The Rangers then find out the truth of Mac being an android, and they're like, "So you're an android? So what?" They, "You're still part of the team." Yeah, I was like, and Tyson's like, "Yeah, I mean, you guys took me in. I'm an alien." And Mac's like, "I bet it would be cool to be an android. I mean, think of all the neat stuff you could do. You could play DVDs in your head." Okay, probably okay. Now, like I say, probably a very not probably a weird thing to say, but I'll give Dax credit for trying to lighten the mood. Yeah, I don't. The telling him to shut up was not a. Yeah, come on, be nice. It's a little weird, but yeah, give Dax credit for trying to lighten the mood there. And of course, Will, like, we're still brothers, man. So, yeah, they're pretty. All the Rangers still, let's say, still cool with Mac. They don't care about that. And of course, Mac still has to kind of. Yeah, he still has a little bit of resentment toward Hartford there, to the point where he just calls him Dr. Hartford instead of Dad, and he tries to find his own identity, but of course, like there's one point where he's trying to be a rock and roll star, which makes him look like Michael Jackson, uh, and yeah, he's sort of an identity crisis kind of thing going with him because he's kind of questioning, what part of me was my own decision and what part was programmed there. So yeah, it's a bit of an identity crisis going on here. Yeah, and that kind of goes on. Tyson sort of has a bit of another moment with with a new fear cat that actually projects an illusion that his girlfriend has returned, and almost tricks Tyson into believing that he was never a Ranger and never left Mercury. But of course, when he finds out the truth, he's pretty mad and takes out the Fear Cat that tricked him. Eventually, they do defeat the other Fear Cats as well, and they even have a clip show. And actually, this clip show is, and of course, a lot of series have clip shows. Um, they do work for the most part. I mean, it's not. It's the clip show. Clip shows aren't really completely a bad thing to have. I mean, it's yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes it can be a bit redundant, like in Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, because they had two clip shows, and the show only has one season. Two clip shows, so yeah. And I know Yu-Gi-Oh has had quite a bit of clips, flashbacks as well, and then a clip show. But yeah. Here in Operation Overdrive, yet actually, it actually works pretty well with the episode because they're actually trying to figure out not only how many jewels they have already, which they kind of know that, but also the purpose and like is there any clues within what they've been finding, in order to determine their next move of the final jewels. It's actually pretty helpful. Um, Defeat the Fear Cats, and then of course. They actually do get the final jewels, but then we got the climax of the show, where Florius, oh yeah, during getting the final jewels, Kandor is defeated. He before Kandor is defeated, he actually traps Mirdrex in the same jewel that he was trapped in because he's tired of her failures. I'm like, but dude, she freed you from the jewel. Shouldn't you be at least a little appreciative of that? No, apparently not. He traps her in the jewel, and I guess they say, what goes around comes around because he gets his just desserts. He's defeated and destroyed. Now there's nobody left but Florius and Moltar. Also, there was a funny moment in one of the episodes where the Yeti had a cold for some reason. It was kind of nasty. Really, but at the same time, really makes you feel bad for this guy because yeah, Flores is like, I don't care about no coal. So, yeah, in the climax, yeah, Florius actually destroys Moltar by tricking him. So now there's nobody left but Florius, and he and his chillers break into Hartford's place to get the jewels and the crown. And the Rangers try to fight to defend them, of course. But eventually, Flores gets the upper hand by holding Mac hostage, and well, they give up the jewels for Mac's safety. Even though Max demands that they keep fighting and don't worry about him, because at this point, because of the fact he's an android, Max feels like that he's not important anymore, and feels like, hey, something happened to me, you just build another one. But one thing his father points out when giving the jewels up to save him is that he's not replaceable, and that he loves Mac for who he is. I love you too, Dad. And they finally get a bit of a reconcile. Of course, then they go into the final fight, which is an interesting part where they get ready to morph, and Florius freezes the whole town, including the Rangers. But because they were in the middle of morphing, the morphers actually thaw the ice out for them to complete the morph, which is pretty cool. I guess they know we're not finished. Be really nice if there was this kind of convenience for the Digimon in the Digimon movie when they were in the middle of digivolving but got attacked by Inframon, especially Patamon's case. Patamon Digivolve 2, Inframon Digivolve 2. Diaboramon. Ah. Whoa, he digivolved. He's at the mega level now. Cable Crusher. And canceled Patamon's Digivolution. Man. But Patamon would probably wish that he was able to do like the Overdrive Rangers right now. So yeah, with that, Overdrive Rangers, they fight for the final time. Mac, of course, busts out the whole there's even a part where the Corona Aurora makes Florius grow to giant size and he destroys the Zords. So Mac actually manages to take him out with the Sentinel Knight's power, but not just only with the Sentinel Knight's power. He practically pulls a Pinocchio, and what I mean by that is he sacrifices his life. Um, because of the fact of him being an android, it's sort of a reference to Pinocchio wanting to be a real boy. And in the last scene of the Pinocchio movie, both the animated and the remake, which is pretty good, which I actually did enjoy the remake, despite other people hating it. In both of them, yeah, he did sacrifice his life to save Geppetto. Remember, with the whale Monstro. In this case, Max sacrifices his life to finally destroy Florius and get the crown and the jewels back, which knocks him offline. And even has a damage on his face there, where you see the little wires, kinda. So there's a mourning for Zack. For Mac, kinda makes me think of the death of Optimus Prime in the Transformers movie, and also the death of Dinobot. Oh boy, it's a lot of references here. But the Sentinel Knight shows up with the crown and tells them that there could be a way to bring Mac back because of the crown's power with all the jewels now. And when he puts the crown on Mac, it not only revives them, but not only revives and heals them, but now he's no longer an android. He's human now. I can feel my heartbeat. I have a heart. Yep. So with that, all the Rangers are. So the mission is complete for the Rangers, and all of them get ready to go their separate ways. Ronnie goes back to racing, of course. Will gets work in museum security to help protect artifacts from theft from thieves and stuff. And because of what he's learned from working with the Overdrive Rangers, he has a team that he trains to help him protect artifacts there. Rose pretty much gets back to the university, of course, probably to become a professor. Dax no longer wants to just be a stunt double; he wants to direct movies. Well, all I can say is go for it, Dax, and just hope you do a really good job, man. And also, how ironic, Amy Jo Johnson kind of went into directing after Power Rangers. I think there's some independent films she got out there. So, yeah, there's that. And of course, with Tyson, he says that he's going to search for his girlfriend now. Who's not only just his girlfriend but also his fiancée. Turns out she was actually held hostage by Florius, and after his defeat, the Yeti actually protected her, fighting off the Chillers to keep them from, as they say, doing away with her. So, and at the end of this episode, the Yeti brings Tyson's girlfriend back. Yep, and at least now he can get some appreciation from our heroes, where he didn't get that from the villain. So at least now the Yeti has something good going for him. He needed a break. I'm proud of you, Yeti. So as for Mac, well, him and his father go on Indiana Jones adventures there, and that was pretty much the summarized of Operation Overdrive. Actually, a good series. Yes, like I said, I did point out nitpicks, some constructive criticisms, as well as some things in the series that were kind of upsetting. Yes, but overall, I actually did enjoy this series because, like I say, the good outweighed the bad here. And it's definitely worth checking out. Like I say, yes, there's nitpicks and things that could be better, but yeah, I definitely recommend that y'all get Operation Overdrive and give it a watch. Yeah, because they are definitely worthy of the Ranger franchise, and definitely worth the watch. And it definitely had a lot of elements of what I wrote in Kroger Force, which is the reason why I had chose to make this video to talk about this, because previously I did all the Kroger Force the Kroger Force versions and talked about them. So yeah, So yeah, definitely give Operation Overdrive a check out. Um, like, share, and subscribe, especially all of y'all listening from the Power Ranger groups. And like I say, definitely like, share, subscribe, buy our available books, as well as being on the lookout for Yumiko Novel 1 when it arrives, probably week after, probably on the around the 25th. It may possibly come a little early, but either way, I will, when it does come, I will be making a video about that to let y'all know, about getting it and everything. And also, definitely support us on that Patreon, just like EJ the Supreme. Yeah, do that. And also give us some super thanks at any time on any of these videos. And we will definitely. Oh, and and wait, before y'all go, one of the things I forgot to mention in this video, Overdrive's rap is really good. There was also there was a lot of hatred toward the Overdrive theme, because traditionally, most of the Power Ranger theme songs usually be like rock and roll, like go go Power Rangers, rock on. So yeah, we've always had like the rock and roll thing for Power Ranger theme. That's nothing wrong with that. But then Mystic Force, they try a bit of like hip hop with it. Here come the Power Rangers, here come the Power Rangers. Overdrive went full out rap, and it's actually a good thing. It actually fits with the season. I really feel it fits with the season, and yeah, I even came up with a rap for Kroger Force, which I might possibly share with you guys in a video. The Kroger Force rap. But yeah, Overdrive has a really good rap theme opening. Go Rangers, go Rangers, go 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 go! Power Rangers, Operation Overdrive. Power Rangers, Operation Overdrive. Us 5 Rangers reaching for the sky in 5 ways. Dark forces loving such a fun for 5 days. Dark forces still looking evil when they roam. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I know some of the I should have probably looked up before doing that, but yeah. Point being, Overdrive's got a good theme. So, again, yeah, definitely check that out. And all the other stuff, like, share, subscribe, buy books, and support us on that page. And definitely, I'm gonna say it again, support us on that Patreon, just like EJ the Supreme. Support us on that Patreon. We definitely would appreciate that, and the super thanks. And once again, we'll see y'all in the next video. Take care, everybody.